Good morning, everyone. My name is Dipesh Deshmukh, and on behalf of IBG, I welcome you to an amazing, fantastic webinar. And we are going to talk about the business in film business. But before that, I see there are some new faces here, new people. So for their benefit, very quickly, I'm going to talk about what IBG is, India Business Group. We are a chamber of commerce, and our sole focus is to help our members connect with each other and get business. So we work very hard as a chamber to connect our members with the leads. We have MOUs with over 50 chambers of commerce from all over the world. So our members get to do business not just within India but internationally as well. And the best way to tell you guys more about IBG is through a small video. Girish, if you could please play the video.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to India Business Group. We are a modern chamber of commerce focused on mentoring and supporting Indian businesses to help them grow globally. IBG was founded by Mr. Vikash Mittersain, CMD of Nazara Technologies and the Honorary Consul General of the Republic of Mali, headed by CEO Ms Priyanka Kashikar and managed by Girish Bhatija, Siddhi Jadhav and Sujata Pawar. IBG has a network of 80,000 associations with over 1,000 active members. It also organizes sector-specific events for their members pertaining to sectors like real estate, entertainment, film and media, healthcare and pharmaceutical, HR, learning and development, travel, tourism and hospitality, banking and finance, manufacturing and retail, advertising and marketing, logistics and infrastructure, and IT. We invite Consul General and Trade Commissioners to explore trade opportunities between countries. We help connect our members with consulates to explore their business on an international arena. Ladies and gentlemen, we've signed MOU with around 50 Chamber of Commerce across the globe. We're also doing sector meetings for our members to help find the right connect. We do conduct B2B meetings with domestic as well as international chambers, which help your business grow with bounds and heaps. So, what are you waiting for? Welcome to our most wondrous world of IBG, India Business Group. Thank you.
All right, guys. So now you guys know a little bit more about IBG, and we are lucky to have with us the founder of IBG, founder president, Mr. Vikash Mittersain. Vikash, if you could just say hi to people.
Hello, my volume is not good, so I can't hear what you're saying. But I just want to say that I'm very happy to be part of this, and I think I'll talk at the end of it.
Thank you so much, Vikash. Thank you.
By the time I'll correct my computer.
All right. Thank you, Vikash. And we also have with us our CEO, Ms Priyanka Kashikar, and a big thank you to Siddhi, Girish, and Sujata for being big support, big pillars for IBG. Before we start, very quick notes. Everyone will be on mute. People are not allowed to speak. If you have any questions, please type them in the chat box, and at the end of the session, I will ask the speaker those questions. Please keep your videos on off so it's less distracting for people. Only the speakers who are going to speak will have their videos on. And lastly, please, in the chat box, if you are new, you're here for the first time, please give us your email address, name, and phone number so that we can update you all with the next events, whatever we are going to do. All right. So with that, I'm going to introduce today's speaker. Now, Priyanka Kashikar. She is an expert when it comes to movies, and we are going to talk about movie business. Priyanka Kashikar, I'm going to read her introduction so it becomes easy for me. She has been in film industry for 11 years. She has worked on well-appreciated films like Andhadhun and Badlapur. She believes that a successful film is the one that balances creatives and logistics. She credits this belief to her experience with National Award-winning director Sriram Raghavan. As a first-generation filmmaker, Priyanka had to slowly carve a niche for herself. Today, she has her own production company called Tukai Films. Films do have an impact on society, she says. Any story can turn into a successful film that it is made, if it is made in the right budget with the right business plan. Even the riskiest subject can turn into a successful project if the mathematics is right. So this is Priyanka for us. And I'm very happy to have known Priyanka. We were a part of a US delegation. She was one of the delegates, and we had a great time when we were together in the US. She is a fabulous person. And so I have conducted a lot of webinars, and every time I wear jacket, okay? But today it's movie business. So I thought I'll look out of place. So I made sure I'm doing this in a t-shirt. You know, you see Yusuf and all, you look so cool in a t-shirt. So you so I thought I'll put an extra effort of not wearing jacket. All right, guys, please help me welcome. There's Yusuf is smiling. So please help me welcome Priyanka Kashikar. Priyanka, please say hi to everyone.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for that lovely introduction, Dipesh. You're always very kind with your words.
To nice people, I'm nice, right?
Oh, right. That's good. Good to know.
So guys, what we are going to do is I have created a host of questions, and we are going to do a discussion with Priyanka. And then we will see what is her perspective on the film industry and the business of movies. So the first question to you, Priyanka. Can you give us a brief idea of the history and evolution of film industry?
Sure.
Indian film industry.
Right. If we can please have the timeline, it will just help me explain this better.
Siddhi?
Siddhi? So I thought we'll just, touch upon a little bit detail about the history of and the evolution of the film business in India, because that will sort of show us what have been the trends up till now, and in the future, what we can predict from this, right? So in the year 1913, the very first film was made in India, and you all must have heard the name of a filmmaker. You may or may not have heard of Dada Saheb Phalke. He was the one who made the very first film called Raja Harishchandra in the year 1913. Now, this basically is that seed that started, this whole big tree that we know as a film industry today started with that one seed, which is that film. Now, in the year 1913 is where it all started. Then in the year 1930, we had the first talkie film. That was the first film where you can listen to dialogue through the sound system. Then in the year 1950 came the first color film. That means your Alamara, the first film that was not black and white, but had color as well. Now, parallelly along with this, if you see right on top, there is a separate arrow called regional cinema. Now, from 1950 onwards, the local languages, say Tamil, Marathi, Bengali, those kind of films in these local state languages also started slowly taking traction. Today, of course, we have a big film like Bahubali, which is a regional film, but India is known now because of it. But the seed, again, everything starts with a seed. So it all started way back when. Then in 1970 was the emergence of parallel cinema. Now, what is parallel cinema and what is mainstream cinema? Now, mainstream cinema in the 1970s was, Amitabh Bachchan and Kabhi Kabhi Mere Dil Mein Khayal Aata Hai. That is mainstream. Whereas parallel was the one that Smita Patil sort of championed, your Manthan, and social issue based films. So that is how parallel cinema was also. That it's not just purely entertainment, but also sort of reflecting what society is experiencing. Now, 1990s was the time when there was a lot of underworld money in the film business, where a lot of underworld money was being pumped in. And I will get into this a little later on in the presentation, what was the significance and what happened later on. But between 1990 and 2010, what happened is foreign studios, so Fox or Disney, these people started seeing India as a great market, because of course we are 100 crores. So that population is kind of, is our strength, because where there is numbers, there is money. So foreign studios started taking interest in setting up shop here. Today, of course, there are a whole lot of international companies that have set up shop here and have a lot of interest here. between the 2010 and 2015, that time there was a boom in animation and VFX sector in India. So if you see all of these, CG films, Marvel films, Spider-Man and Superman and all, if you watch the credits at the end of the film, you'll see a lot of Indian names, because all of that is happening within India. And I'm proud to say that we are almost on par with what's happening with the world. Now, from 2015 onwards, there was a boom of multiplexes within the country. Now, why is that significant to the film business? Is because multiplex means more seats, more screens. So therefore, more tickets sold. So therefore, more money generated, a lot of give and take of money, of somebody coming, watching a film, buying popcorn, everything, all that contributes to turnover. In 2017, a huge giant called Netflix came to India. And this is very, very important, because from that point onwards, a lot of changes started happening within business models. Now, what that means is that when Netflix comes to India, is then slowly Amazon, HBO, or with Disney Hotstar, all these also started then setting up shop here. But the first Netflix, it was a very big indication that Indian market is ready. Then slowly everybody else followed. Now, according to me, in 2018 is where there was beginning of the changing content. That means your masala films like Golmaal were also becoming successful, but also other kind of films that were like, like Badlapur and Dadun, the films that I worked on, also started becoming successful. So then what does that mean is that actors, like for example, even if you take an actor like Varun Dhawan, he'll do a film like Judwa, he'll do a film like Coolie Number 1, but he will also do a film like October. So even stars started realizing कि masala bhi films चल रही है और intelligent bhi films are becoming commercial successes. So when both are doing commercially well, there will be money being pumped into them both. In 2019, according to me, there started becoming this audience bifurcation कि कौन masala film देखेगा, कौन intelligent film देखेगा, कौन दोनों देखेगा, and also what a person will watch on OTT, what a person will watch on TV, and what a person will definitely go to the theater to watch. That audience bifurcation started happening. Now you will ask me, 2020 mein Indian films sold abroad means what? That means interest of international companies in Indian films has increased. Even if there was a lockdown and all that, interest is still there to collaborate with Indian films now, because even Priyanka Chopra is doing very good, in the US. So the films she produces, and generally also in Indian films, there is a lot more interest, international interest today. In 2021 and onwards, I think and I hope that there will be much more international interest and much more studio presence than what we've had so far. So this is kind of what has been, and we'll talk about now the future.
Thank you so much, Priyanka. And so we all will, get a good idea. Thanks for taking us to the transition. And
starting from a
Priyanka
seed in 1913 to this big tree in 2021.
Yeah. And talking of the other Priyanka Chopra, when she was launched in Quantico, that was the time when I had landed in LA, and I had seen humongous posters of Quantico with Priyanka Chopra's face on it. So it was really, I'm like, wow. All right. So I have a question then, that if you said that the film industry started in 1913 and now it is 2021, so the industry is 108 years old.
Well, technically, it is not 108 years old. Technically, it's only 23 years old.
How?
Yes.
My math is so bad.
No, your maths is perfect. But the first film was made in 1913. Okay. But our film industry is not 108 years old. It's 23 years old, because in the year 1998, Sushma Swaraj legitimized the film industry and gave it an industry status.
Oh.
So the first film was made in 1913, but ऐसे legitimately देखा जाए तो just 23 years. But now you'll ask me, उससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है industry status दिया? How does it matter? Because as I mentioned before, that in the 90s, there was a lot of underworld money that was being pumped into Hindi mainstream films. So what happened is, once you get legitimized, then the transition from purely working on black money to white money, that transition, starts to happen. Because before it was seen as, films were kind of seen as a washing machine, ki black se white karne ke liye. But slowly, so I wouldn't say today it's like absolutely white. No, I would be lying if I say that. But definitely there are much more legitimate sources of investing into films than it was a few decades ago. So that journey started with that one step. Today, corporates, banks also give loans to films, like a proper business loan is given to a film.
Correct. Earlier, the loans used to come from Dubai. So. Cool. All right. So then what does this tell us about the future? What to expect from the future of the film industry then?
Right. So even if you see the timeline, okay, of what we just went through, you'll realize that from 1913 to 1930, it took 17 years for sound to come in films. Then from 19 to 1950, when the first film was made, it's almost 20 years. So now that's not the case with technology in film business. The advancements happen very fast. So what this indicates is also allied sectors are also showing interest in enhancing the viewer experience of the audience, the film watching audience. So if you see on Netflix, there is a project called, there's a film called Bandersnatch. Now, why I'm mentioning this project is because, as I mentioned, technology, advancing technology, allied sectors also showing interest. Now, Bandersnatch is an interactive kind of a film where you can see a few scenes, and then Netflix will ask you, now what do you want the protagonist to do? Should they do A, B, C, D? So that's a very interesting way to engage an audience, right? Plus, if you see the cameras and all this that's used today is much, much advanced than what it was before. So it's not just the film business, but also allied sectors that are also helping enhance the viewer experience. So that shows that the future of the film business is very, very healthy. Nice. Now, most important thing to realize, as we touched upon this topic in the timeline as well, the audience bifurcation, right? What will release in theaters, what will come on TV, what will directly go on to like Netflix, Amazon, and also that kind of content bifurcation will definitely start happening. Now, theaters have been shut for quite a while due to the lockdown. So even after the lockdown is lifted, what I feel is there will be like genre matlab type of films like action, comedy, romance. That's called genre. So there will be genre specific releases in theaters. According to me, I don't think romance will be a huge market for the theater audience. It may have definitely a higher probability of success rate on OTT platforms. But I don't know whether romance really has that kind of attraction now, like how Kuch Kuch Hota Hai Dil To Pagal Hai used to have, before. But franchise films, which means your, Superman films or Fast and Furious and James Bond, these kind of franchise films, which have sequels one after the other, they have very loyal fan base. So them having a better run in the theater arena, film theater arena, will have higher probability. Then horror and action films also could have higher probability of having a larger theater audience. So it will start becoming very clear what people want to watch in theaters, what they want to watch at home. That will start becoming more and more clear.
Cool. Nice. So having said that, if somebody wants to invest in the movie business, how will they go about? That is what is the most interest that people have today, right?
Right. So if you want to invest in films, the very first question one must ask is, do I want to be an investor or do I want to be a producer? Now, there is Zameen Asman ka farak between these two. Now, I'll explain what it is to be a film investor, and also explain what it is to be a film producer, and then you can choose what you want to be. A film investor is associated with a film purely with the financial part of it. That means कि मेरे पास 10 crore है, मैं 10 crore डाल रहा हूँ, मुझे profit चाहिए. End of story. That is it. Their interest is only purely investment and profit. Whereas a film producer, his name or his production company's name will be associated with that film forever and ever. Therefore, they will also have, of course, will have right to profits, but also have right to copyright, intellectual property rights, so on and so forth. So what happens with being a film, when you're an investor, your association with that project is just till that much time, profit based. A producer's association is much longer. Now, what does that mean, and why does that make a difference? Is because if you are a producer of a film and you make a film, say you make a Hindi film, then if anybody wants to remake that film, you can earn even through by giving remake rights. You can earn even by giving satellite rights. That means giving your film to TV channels to screen the film. Then you can earn again profit if when you give your film on an OTT platform. So there are various avenues to earn profit, and you can keep earning money. If it's a good film, it's a well-made film, you can keep earning money for the rest of your life. But on the other side of it, if there's a controversy or anything happens and the film does not, do very well, then still you're stuck with that film for the rest of your life. So what you choose is up to you. This is just me informing that there is a lot of difference between being an investor or a producer. You can choose what you want to do. But this is the advantage and disadvantage of both. And
Interesting. So
investor will just be like, there will only be one, like कि invest किया एक ही बार में profit आ सकता है. In a producer can keep making money. Right.
Interesting. And then you can't get the title. It's like produced by, directed by. Nobody writes invested by.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. So Priyanka, let's say once somebody makes up a mind, okay, chal, whether I want to be an investor or a producer, what is the next step then? Chalo, abhi to decide ho gaya कि पैसा लगाना है in this way or that way. So then what next?
So once you decide whether you want to be an investor and a producer, I think it's important to be very true to ourselves and be like, if I'm putting money in this project, why am I putting money in this project? What do I want? Is it only from an investment point of view? Am I only looking at profit? Or do I feel ki, okay, I will make this film, then I will get invited to Filmfare Awards, and then I will go with my family. I mean, no judgment, of course, but that is what you want out of it. It's your money. What you want is totally up to you. But it's important to know that for ourselves, that this is what I want. And why this choice is important is because then you have to choose whether you want to go the mainstream way or the non-mainstream way. Now, mainstream films are all those, your Ajay Devgan, Shah Rukh Khan, Alia Bhatt. All when there is someone of of that stature in films, that is mainstream films. But non-mainstream films is your short films, your documentaries, and then there is also something called the films that go to film festivals. So that is also an avenue where you can make films and from an investment point of view to earn profit. But if your thing is ki I want glamour from this, then I will strongly suggest you stick to investing in mainstream films. But if you are open to explore, then the non-mainstream is also an avenue you can look into. Now, I'll just briefly explain what exactly is this film festival, because there are financials involved in that as well. Now, film festival, basically, you may have heard of names like Cannes Film Festival or Venice Film Festival, Toronto, Berlin. There are many all across the globe. Now, what happens is, like, you can send your film to these film festivals, and these are basically competitions. So if you win the first or the second prize, there is some of these film festivals have cash prizes. That if you win, you can get a cash prize. There are some that don't have cash prize. They are just you win. Okay, that's also there. But basically, like how IBG is a place where you can network, film festivals are also a place where you can network with people from within the film business. And this is not related to just one country. There are international buyers that are there. There are several OTT platforms that usually have their representatives, and their pure job there is for content acquisition. So that you will, if you go there, there is a very high probability you will meet some interested international buyers who will want to take your film. For example, there, if you made a Hindi film, you go to say Cannes Film Festival, you may run into say Annie from Sweden, okay, who will say, I liked your film, I would like to dub it in Swedish and release it in Sweden. You'll say, okay, come, let's talk, and you can, earn profit through that. Plus you can do a direct deal with the OTT platform from there. So that it's an avenue to network and see how your project can benefit most from networking at these film festivals. So that is another, this is one business model, and the mainstream follows another business model. But this is what it is. You can earn profit in both ways if you do it right. This is the various choices available.
Nice. I would love to go to Cannes Film Festival.
You are most welcome.
We'll go. So, so once now you've identified this, the most important thing I feel is, how do you select a project that I want to invest in this project? What are the factors that we need to consider?
That's a very, very important question. So Deepesh, it's important to select the right project. And I will take a little time to explain this, because this is where it all starts,
Okay.
So first, the first thing that we must decide once we've decided on a project is how much money we want to put. Okay, how much money we want to, because that determines how much return we will get. For example, if it's a mainstream film, for example, it's a Karan Johar film, where the budget of the film itself is 100 crores, but you don't want to invest 100 crores. You want to put only 10. So you can put 10 crore in a 100 crore film. Therefore, you are investing partially or funding it partially. So you have 10%, you can ask for 10% profit share because your investment amount is that much. Or the other option is to fully fund a 10 crore film only, where the entire budget of the film is 10 crore. So you either a partial funder or you're completely funding a film, full financing. Now, if it's a if it's a known name, like how I mentioned, a Karan Johar, right? Then कि अच्छा stars होंगे, ये होंगे, वो होंगे. So there is a possibility of profit. But if it's a smaller budget film, for example, if it's a film that is meant for a film festival audience, then the director, producer, actor may not be as well known as, say, maybe a Shah Rukh Khan, right? So it is important to then check the track record of the director, track record of the producer, like how before buying any share stock, how we do a fundamental or a technical analysis. Therefore, similarly, you should do of the people involved in that. And most importantly is the script. I will say, even if you're looking at it from just an investment point of view, today content is king. It is necessary to invest in the right story. So now there are many business people, who don't have that bandwidth of understanding ki script kaisa hai. I will strongly suggest speak to the youth in your family, because they are very up to date with what's happening with the world, what web series, what films are being made. They're very, very up to date. So if there is any youth in your family or your friends circle whose opinion you trust, speak to them. Be like, "Aisa kahani hai. What do you think?" Take their opinion. Now there are many films that are some great subjects. Like I'll give you an example of the very first film of Ayushmann Khurrana, which was Vicky Donor. So when probably people were wanting to make that film, they must have wondered, who is this Ayushmann Khurrana? Oh, he won some roadies show. What is this film, Vicky Donor? It's on sperm donation. What kind of a subject is this? But it became a huge film, it became a huge success, and it started his journey in film business, and he is today a very, very bankable star. He has had so many hit films. So it is important to evaluate not the script or the project, not for what it is right now, but what value it can hold in the future. So that is very important. So please, even if you're looking from an investment point of view, please look at what the script is, what the concept is. Now, the concept may be good, great, everything. Now, I'll give you one more example of how to select the project. Now we've had a slew of films that have been these Desh Bhakti films, which I think started with Uri the Surgical Strike. Now many people can wonder कि अरे बहुत सारे ये films देख लिए देश भक्ति के नाम पे, maybe one more film may not do well. But just in the last few weeks, there have been two films. One was Bhuj, one was Sher Shah. Now Bhuj came before Sher Shah. Bhuj had Ajay Devgan in it, but that did not really get appreciated as much. But Sher Shah got really much appreciated, even though it's falling in that Desh Bhakti category, But it was not old wine in new bottle, but rather it was told in an interesting way. It was an engaging story. So content is king, but content needs to be made in an appropriate budget. So when you're selecting a project, don't just look at the content, but also see कि उसके लिए क्या budget कर रहे. So good content, correct budget. Good content, correct budget. This is the mantra to follow.
Interesting. So once we follow this mantra, we'll select a project, right?
Right.
What next?
The most important step I will say is contracts after you select the budget. And I will strongly suggest to anybody who's investing, even if you are putting money in your own son or daughter's film, your best friend, your chuddy buddy, whoever it may be, please sign contract. I mean, I know everybody is nice and everybody is trustworthy, but still please sign contracts. Now, what should be there in these contracts, right? Now, if you choose to be an investor on a project, there can be three scenarios, right? And these should be very clear. This you should choose, and you should be very clear which one you want to go for. Now, if you choose to be an investor, you can take monthly dividend on your investment amount. Whatever is your invested amount, you can take, like how a bank gives loan. That can be scenario one. Second, as I mentioned, profit share on percentage basis. कि 100 करोड़ का फिल्म है, आप 10 करोड़ डाल रहे हैं, आपको 10% मिल सकता है. Or if you are funding, if you're giving more than that much, respectively that much profit share, you can expect. The third scenario is you invest 10 crore, you want 12. Bas. That's it. Blanket rule. You've invested a certain amount, you want a fixed return. Now, if you choose not to be an investor, but you choose to be a producer, then it will work on a profit sharing model. And the profit sharing is a percentage profit model. And then your copyright, your film rights, your IPR, all this should also be mentioned in your contracts. And most importantly, now whether you are an investor or a producer, you should also talk about how the cash flow is going to happen. Should it be monthly based on approximation, monthly expenditure, or is it lump sum periodically? It can be anything that is mutually comfortable for all the parties involved.
All right. On that note, one question, every time when I see the titles that I know produced by, directed by, there are sometimes a dozen executive producers.
Yeah.
So who are they?
So it's very different for a US model and for an Indian model. In US, executive producers are those that they also put money. But in India, executive producers are those that basically execute the project, like the CEO of the project.
Okay. Understood.
Yeah.
All right. So now bottom line, what are the avenues of returns on investment? How do people
most important
yes.
question. Most पैसा तो डाल रहे पर आएगा कैसे? Huh?
Yeah.
So as I mentioned in the contracts, when I was explaining the contract, that it can either come by dividend on an investment amount, it can be profit sharing on percentage basis, or it's a lump sum कि मैं इतना डाल रहा हूँ, इतना मुझे चाहिए. Okay, now what's also important to understand is, for example, now if you have put money in a 10 crore film whose budget is only 10 crore, so you have fully funded the film. Now, does that mean that you will get 100% profit? well, the likelihood of that is a little less because there will be other interested parties as well. Now, let's understand, which I mentioned right at the beginning, that nowadays when banks give loans to films, so if your film becomes a success and profits start coming in, and if your producer has taken a bank loan, then there will be certain profits that will go towards that. There are also chances that the actor may have taken a profit percentage, which will be mentioned in their contract. So sometimes actors, especially these big actors like Ajay Devgan or Shah Rukh Khan or Akshay Kumar, they have their own production company. So they may say either give me a minimal fee upfront and take a percentage profit, or they may say I let go of my fees and you give me more profit share. So that impacts then how much cash in hand comes to you, the person who's putting in the money. So there are also other people who have a piece of the pie. So even when returns are coming in, one must keep in mind all these other people who will have a piece of the pie. So invest accordingly and expect returns also accordingly. But remember
Okay.
the mantra, okay?
Okay.
Good content, correct budget. Good, say
Absolutely.
5 times. Good content, correct budget.
True. Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
Now, thanks to this pandemic, OTT suddenly came to light. A lot of people who had no idea suddenly started using OTT platform.
Right.
So how does a business deal between a producer and OTT? How does that work? And what is the future of this association?
Okay. Well, so the deal between a producer and an OTT is such that you can, now for example, if I'm a producer, I go to Netflix, right? I will say, I've made a film in 5 crores. How much money are you giving me? Now they will see your film, they will watch it, they will decide, okay, this film is a very nice story. So for you're saying your film is 5 crores, I'm willing to give you 7 crores for it. Now for some producer, they may feel it's a great deal. There may be a producer who may feel that this is not a very good deal, but it's not necessary to only look at the remuneration. We must also look at the license period for which the platform is taking the project. Now, if my film is 5 crores and Netflix is taking my film for 7 crores, I have to ask for how long they are taking my film. As in, are they going to take it for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, or for perpetuity? Now, what that means is after 3 years are up, I can approach Netflix again and say, okay, are you renewing? Are you are you going to continue having my film on your platform? Then you can earn from that renewal as well. And if you feel Netflix is not giving you a good deal, you can go to an alternate platform, put it on Amazon or any other one. But if they're taking your film for perpetuity, as in forever, then make sure that it's a good deal. It's a very, very good deal. So there are certain films today that are going for perpetuity, or they are going for a lesser license period based on the comfort of the producer. Do they want to give just earn once a big good lump sum, or they want to keep earning money? So that's what is happening today. And now, as you rightly said, theaters have been shut. So there have been several films that have come directly to OTT. And now what is happening is there are films that are releasing in theaters wherever theaters are open, and they are also simultaneously coming on OTT platforms. So this we call a hybrid model. Ki theater mein bhi hai aur OTT pe bhi hai. Though I'm a little doubtful of the longevity of this hybrid kind of model, but direct to OTT is definitely something that I think may gain more traction for content that is suitable for OTT. But the content will decide what model it should follow.
Sure. But then what happens with the big budget films? Because if theaters are shut, big budget films, I know they make real money through theaters. So
Yes, absolutely. You're right. Siddhi, can I please request you to show the posters of the films, please? So there are a lot of films that are like shot and ready, which were, probably shot before the COVID lockdown in 2019 and 2020, early part of 2020, where they were shot and they're absolutely ready. And they are some big budget, big films, which already had a lot of publicity going for them, Your films like Suryavanshi, you have film like 83, Gangubai Kathiawar. These are films that kind of deserve the big screen, and the big screen also kind of deserves them. And we know for a fact that kitna bhi hum kare, it's not going to earn as much profit on OTT or through TV as much it can do business in theaters, because like Suryavanshi is a film which is a part of the Singham franchise. So it will have that, larger than life, like Akshay Kumar doing action and jumping from one place to the other, that you can't watch on your mobile, like it's not going to have that effect.
Impact.
Right. And 83 is a film that, it's made on the World Cup, which India won. It's a very iconic moment in the Indian cricket history. And I'm sure it's been shot in that way, that wonderful anticipation. Arey, will it be a six? Will it be a catch? What is it going to be? And Gangubai Kathiawadi, it's a Bansali film. So when you say Bansali, that larger than life thing immediately comes to our mind, right? So these are films that, sort of, as I said, deserve the big screen, and the big screen deserves them. It's not going to do justice to watch on a mobile phone. And I'm sure the producers of these films must have spoken to the investors and had that conversation, ki we need to hold. We can't just put it, out of just getting anxious and quickly releasing and right. So because that is, again, as I said, content is king. This kind of content, you need a theater, you need a big screen. So there must have been some understanding, of course, between the producers and the investors involved, that we need to hold, because it was not just India, it was the whole world that was going through this. So I'm sure some conversation has happened, and they are holding on in good faith.
Talking of whole world, imagine Top Gun 2 you're waiting, yeah. All right. So Priyanka, I can see a lot of questions are popping up. I'm going to ask a last question for you, and then we will turn on to the Q&A session. According to you, what are the trends, forecasts of the film industry?
Right. So in terms of trends, I must say, and I have been mentioning again and again, the content will decide. The content will decide what is going to happen, where is going to go, who will watch what in theaters, and who will watch this on OTT or at home or whatever. One thing we must understand, that in terms of trends, in the next 3 to 5 years, it will be something. But after 5 years, it's going to be very, very different. Because especially for those that are children today, we have kind of conditioned them कि button दबाएगी तो entertainment मिलेगा, button दबाओगे कि Cinderella चालू होगी, button दबाओगे Beauty or the Beast आएगा. Because in the COVID lockdown, they couldn't go anywhere, they couldn't play with their friends, nothing. So we have kind of conditioned their minds on that video on demand thing. So in 3 to 5 years, the trends will be, sure, there will be trends, but after 5 years it's going to be even more interesting to see how that goes, especially in the video on demand space. So what that will lead to is there will definitely be a loss of theater audience, where there will be some section of the audience who will not want to come to theaters, who will want to watch, in the comfort of their homes. Also, it will be interesting to see the role of film certification, because on the internet, you do not need film certificate. At least up till now, we don't need.
True.
So role of film certification is again something that will be interesting to see, especially if it's a direct to OTT model. And as I've been saying throughout today's chat that we're having, that there will be clear-cut business models, as to what will come in theater and what that should be like, what budgets it should be like, what marketing strategy, how to reach the target audience. That business model become very clear. And if it's a direct to OTT thing, then what business model to follow. Now, again, I throw caution to the wind and I say big screen is equal to big budget, small screen is equal to small budget. If people fall into that trap, then I'm very sorry. I don't think that is the correct equation, because we've already seen a very successful show like Game of Thrones, which was a very, very big budget show. And it had a very, very good fan following even within India. So big screen is equal to big budget and small screen is equal to small budget. That is not the blanket equation. Again, I will repeat my mantra. Good content, correct budget.
All right.
The way forward. That is really the way forward.
We will jump your mantra. All right. So, so Priyanka, thank you so much for, having this conversation with me. And let's very quickly go through some of the questions
Yeah, sure.
that people have been asking. All right. What is the future of short film if one is starting a startup in short films?
Short films. Okay.
Yeah.
So for short films, there are certain platforms that, if you're looking at from an investment point of view, I would strongly recommend you collaborate with the right kind of people. This again, the story has to be right, because if your story is right, then there will be platforms that will be interested in taking your film. Short films has a big market even in the film festival circuit. So if it's a good content, you can apply to film festivals. There will be people over there, buyers there, who may want, if it's a good story, to take and screen your film. They may dub it, they may put subtitles, they may do it internationally, or they may put it on some platform. Or platforms may show interest in having your film. There are various avenues for short films.
All right. So he has asked two more questions. Any short film theaters that are available at low cost? Why are there no small theaters for short films?
Well, because the thing with short films is that it's mostly digital distribution. That means through YouTube or through digital exhibition platforms. So therefore, theaters for short films, you can privately book and have a private screening, but that's not, I do not know how sustainable that will be, because how many people are going to come and watch a film for just 20 minutes or 10 minutes,
Especially in cities like Mumbai, Delhi, Bangalore, where
after that to watch a 10-minute film, I would rather watch it on my phone. So it's just an easier way to consume that content.
Correct. I agree. All right. What is comment on 4D film system for future in growth?
Technology, I am saying it's going to grow exponentially. As I said, every company, every allied sector is working towards enhancing the user experience. So definitely anything to do with new technology, even nowadays, like you speak to people who are not related to film industry, they also say कि अरे ये theater में ऐसा sound system है, वो ऐसा है, 3D है, ऐसे है. So there is definitely an engagement. As soon as you speak of a higher this, IMAX, whatever it is going to generate interest. And if it is enhancing the user experience, if I'm sitting in the theater and I really feel that I'm being transported because of the technology that is there, it is definitely going to have a good future. Good.
Yeah. Talking about user experience, imagine somebody sneezing or farting and that thing come on your face, right? Wow. That'll be an interesting user experience.
But again, it will be the content that will decide whether it be 4D or not. Like Life of Pi in 3D, people will want to watch, but a normal, like a ladka ladki ko pyar ho jata hai and पिताजी बोलते हैं ये शादी नहीं हो सकती, that people will not want to watch.
Yeah, that 2D is good enough.
Yeah.
All right. So while we are still on, so short film we were done, but what should be an ideal budget for short films?
There is no ideal budget. There is no rule. There is no mantra at all. Again, I will repeat: good content, correct budget. So there are short films that can be made for 1 crore and still be successful. Short films, you can make a short film for just 2 lakh rupees and it cannot be successful also. It is how you put it, who is there, who are the actors, what is the story, how the director has made it, what platform you are putting it on, are you sending it for film festivals, what is the feedback you're getting from there. So there is no such minimal or maximum budget for a short film.
True. In fact, somebody has said, my suggestion for short films, think zero budget filmmaking if you are just starting out, like iPhone pe banao film.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
So Priyanka had done a fabulous short film. I don't think it was zero budget, but there was only one character. It was breathtaking. It was for 2-3 years ago, right? Independence Day. And she's got like 4 million plus views because she participated in US Consulate ka competition, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. So it was based on women empowerment and amazing short film. All right. So zero budget.
Wow. What about zero budget?
I know.
It can be zero budget. It can be, again, it can be any budget. But
Anyway.
what are you doing with it? How are you putting it out? See, when we make a film, we don't make it for our own personal consumption. We want people to see it. So how are we making it accessible for others to see it, share it? What are we trying to say through that short film? Is it only for entertainment, or are we trying to raise some awareness, or what are we trying to do through that? So that's
True.
Yeah.
So we have a lot of questions. I might just take one or two because
Sure.
we have to stick to the timeline. A very interesting question: how do short films and documentaries make money?
Well, film festivals, again, are a great platform for you to enter your short film and your documentaries. Nowadays, even OTT platforms are very much interested in documentaries if it's a well-made documentary on a unique subject. Like Wild Wild Country was a documentary that is on Netflix. Even Hotstar has some documentaries on wildlife and all different kinds of subjects. So as long as your content is good and it's not the ghisapita something, but there is something engaging, there is something new that you are saying through your documentary, then film festivals are also a platform through which you can find international buyers, and you can engage in a good dialogue with OTT platforms for your documentaries.
All right. Okay, somebody said, can we get her email address?
Sure, please.
Priyanka
at tukai.com.
Yeah, Girish, if you could just put Priyanka's coordinates so people can approach her.
Yes, feel free to.
Yeah, Priyanka is awesome. She consults people who want to get into film industry, So yes. She's the right person. So I am not going to take all questions because we will run out of time. So before we say goodbye, I would like to invite Vikash, our founder president, to say a few words on today's webinar. Vikash, over to you.
I know this has been a really amazing, engaging session. A range of knowledge and experience has astounded me today. I didn't know that she was all this big. I think we're going to hear a lot about her as time goes by. So thank you very much. This is really good.
Thank you, Vikash.
I'm sure our people really loved it. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Vikash. And yes, she looks very tiny, but she's pretty big, okay?
But she's not old.
No, not at all.
She's big in work.
Yes, that's what I meant.
At this young age, to have this vast knowledge. Absolutely. She could answer every question that was asked.
Yeah.
I'm really happy.
She studied in New York, basically. She studied in New York Film Academy. She works with the team who has all studied in US filmmaking. So they really understand how that market works.
Really happy to have her in IBG. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Thank you, Vikash. Happy to be here.
So guys,
Deepesh, maybe we can just ask Yusuf also to say a few words.
Yes, I was about to.
Yeah.
So Yusuf, over to you. Your comment.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes,
please.
Very happy to hear Priyanka. She really threw light on a lot of stuff that everybody has doubts on, and she has a vast stream of knowledge for this. I'm happy to have
not as vast as you, but it was a humble attempt.
No, Baba, it is basically so many things which we don't really pay attention to come into light when somebody speaks. So I always put my mind to rethinking all the stuff that you're talking. I mean, going back in, I would really have forgotten that 1913 was Raja Harishchandra. I always thought it was 1921 or something. So these things come back and it really helps. So great talk and really enjoyed it. Super. Keep it up.
Thank you.
So
I'm glad so many people are taking interest in knowing about short films, knowing about business, how it is done, and at IBG we have a media panel and a film panel. So anybody who's interested, we are available to them. We are available to help people out with whatever they want. and please feel free to get in touch with us. IBG is a platform where all the questions get answered, I think, basically, and it's an industry platform where various industries and various people from various industries take part, and I think we can give you a 360-degree solution for anything that you want. So happy to have people on board, happy to have people participate and ask questions. We are happy to answer. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Yusuf. For people, Yusuf is the one who leads the entertainment vertical of IBG, and he puts in a lot of time, effort, and energy in helping our members in any way he can. So a big thank you to Yusuf. And thank you so much, Priyanka, for spending time with us and tolerating my million questions.
Happy to.
But it was a pleasure to host you, and I'm very happy to have known you for so many years. And a big thank you once again on behalf of IBG.
Well, you're most welcome. And if anybody wishes to speak with me, I'm happy to connect with you on a one-on-one and take it further.
All right. Thank you. And thank you guys for attending today's session.
Thank you.
And you all have a great day. Bye. Bye.